Hello and welcome to a tune tutorial for the Irish reel The Boys of Malin. This is a great Irish reel, and I've never done a tune tutorial, a full tune kind of lesson on this channel before, so I thought I'd try it out. And yeah, so here we go. I'll start by playing the full tune at a kind of a normal speed. One, two, three, and... So there we go. It's a three-part tune, and we're in the key of A, and we only really use the top two strings. We don't go to the D or the G string. That's our full range. So that's just a one octave A major scale, and that's all the notes we're going to be using for this piece. And there's a lot of scales and a lot of arpeggios in this tune. So definitely knowing your scales and arpeggios in the key of A would be a good thing. But let's start it out. So I'm gonna usually when I teach a tune, I repeat a bunch of phrases, and we kind of go back and forth with the student. But since we're on YouTube and you can just replay as many times as you want certain sections, so I'm just gonna kind of go through the phrases once and then kind of build them up, and hopefully that works. So we're gonna start on the A string. I'm gonna get my left-hand camera ready, so hopefully you should be seeing that on this side of the screen. So we start on the open A, and we start with a scale, and then we do an arpeggio. So that's our first part. Da, 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 da. And then we're going to go to a 1 on the E, back to the 1, and then down. So that's our first half of the A part. They're pretty short parts. And then we repeat it. And then the second time through, we go to a 3 on A. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1. So that's our full time through the A part. I'm going to play it from the top. So the second time through the A part, we're going to keep on going up all the way to that 3 on the E, and that's where our B part starts. So I kind of break it down, when I learn a tune, I break it down into little sections, right? So we have that's kind of one part, and then the next part, that's its own part, and then we do the first part again in most tunes, as well as this one. And then the last part, and then we just repeat it. So that's the whole A part, and the B part starts on that 3 on E, and then we're going to jump immediately to the open A, and then have a little cut or bowed triplet. Now for those triplets, I'm going down, up, down. Most fiddlers do that. Some fiddlers could do up, down, up, but I find that personally a lot harder. So it'd be... So kind of like a little arpeggio afterwards. So we have 3. So there's a little bit of syncopated almost rhythm there. And then we do that same cut again. So we have a bit more of a scale the second half. And then we're back to the cut. ending of the B part. So there's kind of, it's like 3 scales. The first one starts on the 3 on E. The second one starts on the 1. And the third one starts on the 3 on A. So it's... So let's try the whole B part. So from that 3 on E, ready, and... So that's the first 2 parts. We have one more part in this tune. And this part starts on the open A, and we're going to kind of, if you know the tune Devil's Dream, this is kind of similar to the B part of that tune. And I'll play it once so you can hear it. So that's, you'll kind of see that it's just kind of this pattern of going from the open A, open E, 2 on A. The open E doesn't change. So it's really just, that's the only change that's happening in terms of our left hand. And we're just kind of string crossing from the A to the E. So it's, so we do that a couple times at least. So we do it 3 times. Back to it. And then the next part is, so we're gonna, it's almost a scale, but we're skipping the open E, so we're going 1, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So that's the third part, and that is the whole tune. So let's play the whole tune. We'll do it under tempo, and yeah, see if you can follow along. So ready, and... So there we go. That is the whole tune, and you know, just if you're having troubles with any of the parts, just kind of go back and repeat the section on the video and until you got it. And there's also the slow down function as well, which is definitely useful. Even if you're finding that speed too fast, you can go to half speed or whatever. So let's talk a little bit about variations. So we've learned the basic tune, and that's great to play at a session. But sometimes it's nice to kind of add little things on top of that. And I do a couple variations, mostly on the B and the C part. And I see the Jehovah's Witnesses are coming, and hopefully they won't knock on my door. But okay, so the first variation I do in the B part is when we get to the... Oh, also note that I wouldn't do this the first time through, the second time through the tune. I'd probably wait until like the third time through or the final time through to do these variations. And you'd only want to do them once. You wouldn't want to do them every time, because then it doesn't become as surprising, right? So so going from the A part to the B part, just take a listen. So that's a little variation. Instead of going, we're going. So it's almost kind of a syncopated push with the bow, and I'm also double stopping with the open A and the 3 on the E. So it's, and only do it the first time through. All the rest I would do cuts. So that's kind of a cool thing. So that's just kind of down, up, down, and just kind of see if you can kind of push the bow so it's kind of almost, it has a bit of a groove. So that's what I do in the B part. In the C part, I like to get a bit crunchy sometimes, and so the melodies. But I like to go something a bit like that. It's easier to do when you're at kind of a full speed. So I'll play it once. So that's just kind of in the lower half of the bow, letting the bow naturally come off if it wants to. Kind of similar to Devil's Dream, right? If you know that tune. So that's a thing I like to do in the C part. And then finally, if you're playing in a session and you have a bunch of people who are on the melody, there's a little harmony part I like to do in the C part. It sounds pretty cool when there's a melody player. I wouldn't play it if it was like I was just doing a solo, but if there's other people playing that part, I go kind of a third above. So that starts on your 2, and I'm kind of barring my high 2 on the A and the E. Sounds a bit strange by itself, but when you have the melody played with it, and it does sound a little bit cool. So there's a few variations. So I'll play one more time through the tune with those variations, so you can kind of hear how it would sound in like a performance. Ready and. So I kind of, sometimes I'll throw in little improv ornaments that I'm not necessarily planning. Sometimes a little chromatic thing, or there's a ton of other stuff that you don't necessarily prepare beforehand. But there we go. There's the Boys of Malin. That's the basic tune. I will also link some sheet music for it in the description. So if you like learning tunes using sheet music, you can use that, and it might be a little bit different than how I taught it, but it'll be probably mostly the same. So there we go. So anyway, there we go. The Boys of Malin, great reel, and I hope this was useful to you in trying to learn the tune.